What's up, Sugar Bushes? Welcome to another episode of Crime and Cosmetics. What? What? What is it? You're just gonna sit there and not say anything to me now? Because I'm not allowing you to to sit in my lap? Okay. Whatever. So we chose Dealer's Choice. We got Dealer's Choice last time. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll be watching the Gary Planch video this week. I think that's what I'm going to be editing. I'm not sure. Wargy, what are you doing? Hey, what is it? Hold on. What are you doing? Okay. What? Okay. Today oh my God. We picked Dealer's Choice, which what? Okay. Which allowed me. You're okay. You're wrapped up in the cord. Oh my! You would die on the outside if it wasn't. If I didn't take care of you. Get out of here. Dealer's Choice. What was I saying? Which I chose the Ourang Medan, which is a spooky story that is kind of unsolved, and it was funny because we played the game Man of Medan, which is what the ship is called. That's what it translates to. And I had no clue that and she's wrapped up in the cords again. Wargy! Get out of here! I had no idea that it was based off a true story, which is insane. So let me get I think we're going to do like a black, green, and blue look today. Let me get my primer on and my hair tied up in this friggin' cat taking care of him. We'll start. All right, let's go. Come on. What? Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right, so, like I said, today we are going to be talking about the SS Ourang Medan. Sorry, not Medad. Who is your dad? So this is a Dutch merchant ship that fell victim to an unexplained fate. Like I said, it was Dealer's Choice, and I wanted to pick a rather spooky story. And I also said I didn't realize that the game Man of Medan was based off a real ship. So that's pretty super sick, cool girl stuff. So okay, our story goes that on June of 1947, which is actually speculated because famed author Gaddis, who is the man that coined the term the Bermuda Triangle, he says that the approximate date was February of 1948. So pick or choose what you believe in. Honestly, I don't care. So regardless of what you believe in, which the date was, don't care, like I said, whatever. Two American vessels are navigating the Strait of, let me try to pronounce this, Malacca. I think that's how you do it. So the Strait of Malacca is a narrow stretch of sea that measures around 580 miles in length and is between the Malay Peninsula and the Indonesian island of Sumatra. I think I pronounced that correctly. I'm very white, dog, so I'm sorry, okay? So the Strait of Malacca is a very, very important. It's a very important stretch of sea. It's home to a lot of important shipping lanes in the world, and it sees an incredible amount of traffic. Like around 260 ships pass through the strait each day, carrying around a 1/4 of the world's traded goods, which is bananas. It's also one of the most congested shipping lanes in the world. It narrows at about around 1.5 miles wide. So, I mean, sounds pretty big, but when we're talking about like large shipping ships, that's not a lot of room. And within the last century, it's seen around 30 sunken, scuttled ships. You know what I'm saying? Which again doesn't sound like a whole lot, but big cargo ships, it's a bit much. It's a bit much, but nonetheless, the Strait of Malacca is a very, very, very important passage that ships take when carrying traded goods around the world. So, the Strait of Malacca also has a bone-chilling reputation due to the unexplainable fate of the SS. Ow, your claws are in my knees. Can I help you? There's nothing up here for you, I assure you. You gonna make sure? You should dig those claws in my knees further, by all means. You want me to pull your chair up for you? Okay, come on. Come on, Miss Manager. Get up here. Get up in your little chair. It's here for you. Alright, well, get up on up there. There you go. There you go, Miss Thing. Now you can manage and watch me and all that stuff. So as I was saying, sorry, so the Strait of Malacca has a bone-chilling reputation due to this story about the SS Ourang Medan. So the way the story goes is that two American vessels, one known as the SS City of Baltimore and another one known as the Silver Star, they begin picking up a strange distress signal, and it's one that they would never forget. So a radio operator aboard the Medan had sent out the following message in Morse code. It read, quote, "SOS from Ourang Medan. We float. All officers, including the captain, dead. All officers, including the captain, dead in chart room and on bridge. Probably whole crew dead." End quote. Followed by a confusing mixture of dots and dashes of Morse code, and then moments later, two words come through the radio that say, quote, "I die," end quote. So that was the last signal they got from the Medan, which is just a wee bit fucking horrifying, isn't it? Yeah, that's terrifying. So, once the final coherent message had passed through the radio waves, the Ourang Medan fell silent, and nothing more was heard from the ship. So authorities were obviously alerted about this, and they put out a signal to all nearby ships to basically keep your eyes peeled for anything out of the ordinary, any ships that seem to be in distress, and please report them. Ships just kind of began searching their immediate area and kind of looked around to see if there were any ships in distress around them, but there was no immediate location of the mystery signal and where it came from. So finally, trying to not get this in the shot. Sorry. So finally, with the help of British and Dutch listening posts, the source of the signal had finally been found. It was coming from a ship way out in the Indian Ocean, kind of in the middle of nowhere, away from all major shipping lanes, which didn't make a lot of sense. Because what would a cargo ship that deals in major, trade be doing all the way out drifting in the middle of nowhere? But nonetheless, it was decided that someone needs to go check up on them, obviously, with that transmission that came through the air. So the Silver Star gets the short end of the stick and is like, well, they were the closest, but they're like, well, I guess we'll go check up on them and see what's going on over with those silly guys. Listen, baby, listen. I know that you just want to be as close to me as possible, as much as you can. I know it, I respect it, but I need you to chill the fuck out for like 2 seconds. You feel me? You're sound good? How's it feel to have me this close to your face all the time? Does it piss you off? Well, it should. Yeah, see, you want to get away. See? Ow. Oh, God, let go of me. Let go of me. You can't. I can't put you down if you don't let go of me. Okay. Okay. Let go. Say hi. All right, baby. Go ahead. There you go. So I didn't like that green, so we are going to go with a purple because you can't go wrong with purple. What was I even saying, dude? Hold on, I gotta find my place in my notes again. Sorry. The Silver Star gets the short end of the stick, and it's because they're closer, like I said. And they have to go investigate what's going on with this mysterious ship. So they get the coordinates, and they set sail. And keep in mind, they don't know anything. They have no information about what's happening. So a big thing was like pirates. Like pirates were a big issue back in the day, so they don't know if like the Medan had some kind of mechanical failure or something, or if the ship had been overrun by pirates. So they were just kind of going in blind, which, is not like the best thing to do. You want to have as much info as possible, but there was just, it's back in the day, man, there was just no info to be had. So after a couple hours of sailing, they can see a ship out in the horizon, and it's just, it turns out to be the Medan, but it's just more perplexing to them because the Medan is just kind of drifting aimlessly in the water. There's no pillars of smoke billowing out. There's no indication that there has been some catastrophic failure. They can't see any movement on the deck, so it doesn't look like it's been overran by pirates. So the fact that this ship is just floating around in the ocean, aimlessly, is a little unsettling. I mean, it's a little unsettling thought. A ship just drifting off into nowhere, bro. The sea scares me, anyways. The sea is very scary to me. So that's already a big no-go in my book-a-rooney, champ. So yeah. Okay, back to our story. Sorry. So as the Silver Star is approaching the Medan, they try to send out numerous signals, basically being like, "Hey, girl boss, we're coming up on you, so what's the dealio? Is anybody alive in there? Knock, knock." I don't think that's what they actually said, but I can only assume. That's how they talked back in old-timey times. But, so, they send out numerous signals, and they are not getting a response from the Medan at all. So they approach the ship, they tether their ship to the Medan, and as a crew is doing that, they quickly, hastily, which are the same thing, so I don't know why I said both of them, but whatever, they form together a rescue party, because they need to go on the ship and figure out what's the dealio, Emilio, and why that crazy distress signal was sent out, and why no one is responding to them. So, hold on. When the rescue party, I need to find a brush for this purple. Oh wait, no, that's a good purple brush. When the rescue party boarded the Medan, they were greeted with the corpses of the Dutch crew littered upon the ship's deck. And if you've played the game, Man of Medan, in the game, which obviously all of you have, duh, or I wouldn't be talking about it, just kidding. But in the game, one of the characters says, "Oh, it looks like these individuals have died of fear, like they've died of sheer fright," which is exactly what the bodies on board the actual Medan looked like. Their eyes were wide open, their mouths were hung open, their faces were just like contorted in like a horrific expression, and their limbs were stuck in positions that made it seem like they were fighting for their lives. And what's even crazier is even the... Oh, I just messed up my notes. I'm so sorry. Hold on. Stop it! Stupid computer. Just kidding. If you stop working on me, I might kill myself, I'm gonna be honest with you. Where were we? Sorry, hold on. I fricked up. There we go. Sorry. So, what was super crazy is that while all the crew members were stuck in these positions, even the ship's residential dog, it was in this defensive position. He was found frozen, his body stiff and frozen, his teeth were bared, and he was in a defensive position. So obviously this kind of puts the crew of the Silver Star a little what's the word I'm looking for, not not chill. It's pretty not chill vibe on the ship right now, if you catch my drift. And you should, because I'm literally saying it to you without any like euphemisms, putting them on edge. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. The captain. Oh, hold on. Gotta get under my eyeball. So the captain of the Medan was found in the bridge, with the rest of the officers being in the wheelhouse and the chart room. So the engineering crew of the Medan were found at their stations, and the radio operator, the one who had originally transmitted the SOS signal, was found at his station with his body kind of strewn across the communications equipment. So basically, it's kind of like they died like right where they were standing. So what made this discovery of mass casualties on the Medan even more mysterious and terrifying is that despite their horrific, features, they're looking like they are terrified and their distorted limbs looking like they were fighting something off, not a single person, not a single deceased individual on the Medan showed any signs of injuries at all. They bared no lacerations, they bared no trauma wounds, nothing. And there really wasn't anything for the Silver Star ship to be like, oh, this guy obviously died of like a head wound, blah blah blah. They didn't have it is the strange. I don't even know how to describe it. It's the strangest things. They just look like they dropped dead. So where were we? For what it's worth, the crew all looked like healthy individuals despite not being alive, but they seemed like normal healthy individuals, and then they just suddenly dropped dead, which left the crew of the Silver Star absolutely baffled. And also, on top of all that, the mysterious, what am I even saying, the corpses had all seemed to be decomposing at a much faster rate than one would expect. And that could be because the ocean, the ocean, I would think the salty air in the ocean would help preserve them more, but I could be wrong. So on top of all these bizarre findings, there was also a really like eerie chill in the air, despite it being a completely clear day and 100 degrees outside, and around 100 degrees outside. After all this wild stuff happening, and them basically coming upon a mass grave floating aimlessly in the ocean, the captain of the Silver Star is still mission oriented, which that's what we like to see in our leadership. Despite a bunch of dead people, you still got the mission in mind, baby. So he's like, okay, we are going to hook up and we are going to tow the Medan back to port so it can be obviously investigated and salvaged. And they end up hooking up all their tow ropes and getting everything ready to go. And that is when a sudden fire breaks out in the number 4 cargo hold. This fire begins absolutely, gang. This fire absolutely begins raging, and the Silver Star crew is actually able to cut the tow ropes at the very last possible minute, thank God, because the Medan explodes in a array of spectral fire and smoke, and like the force of this blast was enough to lift the entirety of the Medan out of the water, and it plunges back into the ocean and quickly breaks apart and sinks to the bottom to be never seen again. Now, there's a lot of speculation if the Medan ever even really existed, but as the remnants of the wreckage have never been seen again, but the Coast Guard had officially reported on the Medan in 1952. Hi, Miss Thing. Not right now. No. We just had to talk about this. I'll scoot you closer so we can be closer to each other, but I can't have you walking all over me right now, okay? What actually happened to the crew of the Medan, why they all perish, is still, has been to this day shrouded in mystery and speculation. Some theorists suggest that the Medan had been part of a top secret government experiment kind of along the lines of Project Philadelphia. And if you don't know what Project Philadelphia is, I'm gonna tell you. We should actually do a video on that because it's kind of crazy. It's big in like conspiracy territory, but it's still wild. It's still a wild story. Anyways, so Project Philadelphia was apparently witnessed by an ex-merchant mariner, where basically the U.S. Navy attempted to make the destroyer escort, the USS Eldridge, invisible. And apparently, when they did this, they like crash course. Basically, the Eldridge disappeared and reappeared at this one port, and then came back and disappeared and reappeared back. Unfortunately, hey baby, no, not right now. Give me like 10-15 minutes, and you know, I'll put you up here. But come on now. Cut me some slack. Cut me some slack. Apparently, this little experiment had some like pretty adverse side effects because allegedly, the crew that was aboard the Eldridge when this happened, when they reappeared back at one of the ports, some of them had been allegedly physically fused to the ship. Some of them fell ill with some severe mental disorders, and some even rematerialize inside out. But that's Crash Course story. It's all alleged. We might do a video on it because it still kind of is an interesting topic. But people thought that the Medan was partaking in some kind of government trials, experiments, along though not those exact ones, but along those lines. Others believed that the Medan was attacked by a powerful supernatural force, something along in the paranormal lane. And like I said, there are also people who doubt the ship ever existed at all. Investigators researching the ship, because people have like dedicated a lot of their lives to researching the Medan. And some investigators state that the Ourang Medan did not appear in any maritime records and had not been registered in any port. So this is raising the question: did the Medan even exist, or is it just a sailor's tall tale? So a German author by the name of Otto Mielke, published research in 1954 that was supposedly authenticated by members of the Silver Star's crew who were there on the day that they found the Medan. And Otto cited information that was previously unpublished, such as the ship's last known location and things of that nature. But more importantly, it cited that the cargo that was potentially being carried in the it cited that it basically, he told you what the cargo that might have been being carried in the Medan was, and it was potassium cyanide and nitroglycerin, which are not good chemicals. So the fact that the Medan was potentially carrying these incredibly lethal chemicals in their cargo, it has led to speculation that the Medan was involved in some kind of underworld smuggling operations, as authorities would have never allowed a ship carrying such cargo to leave the port. It's also speculated that the Medan was in fact another ship altogether and had quickly renamed itself while at sea to disguise the identity of the ship, and that might explain why it's not registered at any port. Like I said, a lot of speculation about this ship. Now, the theory that the Medan was part of some underworld smuggling ring, as silly goose. Now, the theory that the Medan was part of some underworld smuggling ring and was hiding from authorities could potentially explain why it was so far off, like shipping routes, and it was plausible they were so far away from shipping routes because they wanted to avoid detection from other ships and the authorities and stuff. And it's theorized that seawater somehow got into the cargo hold and mixed with the improperly stored potassium cyanide and began releasing a highly poisonous gas, which then killed the entirety of the crew, and then later seawater got in and mixed with the nitroglycerin and caused an adverse reaction, and which sparked a fire and triggered the explosion when the Silver Star crew was trying to tow them back to port. Again, all speculation. And I don't know, my qualms with the theory, which is, dude, it's highly plausible. Definitely could be what happened. But my issue with it is, one, why hadn't the Silver Star crew been, started feeling adverse effects to the poison while they were on the ship? And also, I really just, I'm no chemist, so don't really quote me on all this, but I just can't really, see the potassium cyanide killing the members of the crew who were on the deck, because you're on the deck. It's a pretty well ventilated area. I can't imagine that, I mean, they could definitely be carrying a lot of potassium cyanide, so it didn't really matter. But the deck is a well ventilated area. I mean, you're out in the open air. I can't imagine it would kill the people standing on the deck. Maybe have some adverse effects, but not kill them. But then again, not a chemist. I don't know. So don't quote me on that. Another theory is that the Medan was actually carrying Tabin. It's one of those. Again, sorry, I'm very white. Sometimes I don't be pronouncing things correctly, but I try my damnedest. So another theory is that the Medan was carrying Tabin, which is an extremely toxic nerve agent, and it was being mass produced by the Germans in World War II. And after World War II, Western allies were busy persuading German scientists to defect and come to the West, giving shitty Nazis immunity for their war crimes and atrocities. That was a real thing that the U.S. did. Not surprised, obviously. And what is it, baby? What? What? Say something. Okay, good talk. Good talk. And the U.S. at the time was also very much interested in bioweapons. And so it is plausible that the United States could have chartered an unregistered cargo ship and then hired a completely foreign crew to man this ship as a way to further distance themselves from this operation. So if something went wrong, there would be no trace that the U.S. was involved in taking, bioweapons back to, I would imagine, the States. And Tabin also has a low persistence level, meaning it would have completely dissipated by the time the rescue crew showed up. And it also apparently blocks neurotransmitters in your body, that cause the muscles to relax, which could explain the distorted bodies of the deceased crew of the Medan. And last but not least, there are also stories of a man who actually survived, a crew member of the Medan who actually survived, and was found by an Italian missionary and the natives to. Oh man, that's a, I don't know if I'm gonna be able. Okay, was found by a native missionary as well as the natives on Taongi Atoll in the Marshall Islands. Again, sorry if I mispronounced that. So apparently, the man, before dying, tells this missionary that the Medan was carrying, quote, badly stowed cargo that was oil of vitriol, which is another name for sulfuric acid, and that some of the containers had broken and caused poisonous fumes to basically kill the entire crew. And according to this story, the Medan was sailing from an unnamed small Chinese port to Costa Rica and was actively trying to avoid authorities, which could definitely, smuggling this, if wonder who they're smuggling sulfuric acid for, but whatever. But they were actively, according to this man, trying to avoid the authorities. The survivor was a German man who subsequently died after telling the missionary this story, and the missionary went on to tell the man's story to the author Silvio Citarelli, and that's how it was published and how it became another theory. The fate of the Medan is still shrouded in mystery to this day. Like I said, some believe the Medan simply never existed, and it's nothing more than a tall tale that it's a tall tale of the sea that sailors would tell to scare other seamen. I personally believe that the Medan did exist and met an ill fate. Why would the Coast Guard report it if it wasn't a real ship? As for what caused, the mass casualties on the ship, I really don't know. What do you think? Let me hear your theories, or if any of these theories you believe. Do you believe any of these? Did the Medan actually exist, or is it just another ghost story? Let me know in the comments below. But that is the story of the mysterious ghost ship, the Ourang, the SS Ourang Medan. As always, let me put on some liner, and then we will pick our case for next week. So give me 1 minute. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it. I was a bit skeptical of how the purple and blue was gonna turn out, but I think it turned out really well. So we are going to pick our. What the fuck happened there? That was weird. Pick our crime for next week. As always, if you have a case that you uncovered, feel free to leave it in the comments of this video, or you can at me on Twitter, DM me on Instagram. It doesn't matter, and we will add it to the old murder pot jar, whatever. The spooky ghost ship. Hell, it might have been an earthquake. Whoa, okay. Yeah, Israel Keys. That's that's a case that I've been wanting to cover for a while, but I just never really had a reason to. So, boom. Israel Keys is who we're going to cover next week. Dude's a fucking psychopath. Let me put that in there so I don't actually accidentally put it back in the jar. So next week we'll be covering Israel Keys. I will see you guys there. As always, don't forget to check out the podcast. New episodes come out every Thursday at 6 a.m. And if you want to watch these lives, we do them on Twitch. My Twitch is Snacks and Official. We do them every Sunday, and it's a grand old good old time. So, like always, again, if you have a case you want covered, leave it in the comments of this video. Add me on Twitter, DM me on Instagram. Doesn't matter. Just get a hold of me somehow. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else? Not that I can think of. I will see you guys next week. Be safe. Be kind to others. Be kind to yourself. Know that you are loved. Oh, hold on. Yeah, okay. I will not say a whole lot about it since, it's not really, what am I trying to say? I know with the recent decision of the Supreme Court overruling Roe v. Wade, shit is kind of a mess. To put it lightly, an incredible mess. Obviously, somebody who does not have a uterus and whose health is not affected by this, I said it on TikTok and I'll say it here. I can only begin to understand the anger and emotion that some of you are feeling. As someone whose health isn't affected by this, and I'm angry about it, I can only begin to imagine how you feel. But I want to reiterate that this community will always be a place where you feel loved and accepted and not judged, no matter what you decide to do with your body. And I want to also double down and say that having a smortion does not make you a bad person, and it doesn't make you any less deserving of love and compassion. You still deserve all those things because you are a valued and loved human being. And I want to make sure in this community that's what you feel. I know shit is whack right now, but we're here for you. This community is here for you. There will always be a place for you here in this community to let out your frustrations, to let out your anger, to scream into the void if you need to. And we're a large community, so there are resources to help if you at some point need help. So do not forget that, and the world is a much better place with you here, and we all love you very much. So be safe, be kind to others, be kind to yourself. Know that you are loved, valued, and cherished. Fucking reiterate that. Know that you are loved, you are valued, you are cherished, and this is not a place where you'll be judged for what you choose to do with your body, and you never will. I will see you guys next week. I love you so much. Bye-bye.